What I love about live theater is the immediate response that you get from the audience. When you hear a, or you hear a, even just hearing a sniff, you got them. You know it, you could feel it, you could hear it. All the senses are just engaged. As far as developing a piece is concerned, to get that immediate response, it's priceless. My name is Pascale Armand, and I am an actor and writer of THOLE Country Clapback. I've worked in television, film, theater, but mostly theater. Actually, my Broadway debut was understudying in Trip to Bountiful, but when I was like with a show from like the very beginning to the end and getting into Broadway was eclipsed. The play was written by Danai Gurira, and I played wife Nomba Tree. We'd been doing the show regionally, like at the McCarter, and then we did it at Yale Rep. That's where we met Lupita Nyong'o. She was a student when she understudied. I was nominated for a Tony for Best Featured Actress in a Play. I would like to be a winner. Whole Country Clapback is the first play I've ever written. Ever written, I'm so scared.
I am just starting high school, just finished 9th grade, am riding the subway on my own, feeling myself, and I have to leave to go to Haiti?
It has been an empowering journey for me. I'm no longer waiting for that phone call. I'm doing it. The play is basically my chronicling my family's journey of becoming legal citizens in the United States. This story is very personal. It talks about people that I love dearly, and hopefully the audience gets to love them too. My writing process was basically, after I heard the statement, just journal entries. I was just writing fervently in a book, you know, at home, and I was just mad.
The President of the United States is at the center of a storm tonight over crude and offensive language. The NewsHour has opted not to repeat the word in question, but President Trump was widely quoted as asking a group of U.S. senators yesterday, why are we having all these people from blank hole countries come here?
Senator Dick Durbin, the only Democrat in the room, insisted the president did ask why the U.S. would want immigrants from Haiti or Africa, and did use a derogatory expletive.
I don't think I'm alone in thinking that this statement was completely off. People in my family, they're not whole people. So I was like, I'm dispelling that theory that the president seems to have put out. My mom has been so helpful in the development of this piece. She's basically told me, now I know why you're an actor, because your memory, it's something else. Like, she was like, there are certain things that I've forgotten. I don't even know how you remember any of this stuff. And I was just kind of like.
The big challenge for Pascale was putting history and story, family, just information about Haiti, and that's her biggest passion, to debunk what people don't know. And she began to just share just the of what she'd written. I realized it was her grandmother, it was her story, and that's where I started to lean in.
Grand-mère is my grandmother. That's the French word for grandmother.
I was fascinated by her grandmother.
When you're an immigrant in America, life is your classroom. So, besides learning my ABCs and 1, 2, 3s and teaching them to my new sister, I learned a huge lesson at Wallbaum's supermarket. Now, I am young, which means my sister Karim is 2 years younger. We're with Grand-mère and she has to go grocery shopping. Now, before heading out, Grand-mère organizes her empty labeled wrappers and containers of grocery items she intends to replenish. Gomel doesn't speak English, so she is going to show customer service personnel what she needs and have them direct her that way. No need to talk. It's brilliant, actually. So she gets her 6- and 4-year-old granddaughters ready to go to Waldbaum's. Sweaters, coats, hats, and scarves, and off we go. Now, Gomel doesn't let us run around the supermarket. She installs Karim into the cart, and I either hitch a ride on the back or walk alongside it. Now, with the grocery list and wrappers in hand, Gomel goes through each aisle of the whole supermarket once, looking for the corresponding labels, wrappers, and containers she brought. When she sees the grocery items, she picks up what she needs, places it in the cart, and discards the matching wrapper. When we get to the refrigerated dairy section, Gomel makes sure we zip up our coats and put on our hats and scarves. The colds come in through exposed heads and chests. We get the Sunny Delight, eggs, vitamin D enriched whole milk, cheese, and butter. Gomel checks expiration dates, cracks in the eggshells, and prices. The cart gets fuller and heavier as we go through each aisle. By the time we get to the other side of the supermarket, all of the wrappers are gone from her hand except for one, a 10-pound bag of Carolina white rice. Now, did she miss it? Did they move it? She thinks she knows this store like the back of her hand. And then she sees him, a white man donning a white coat, clipboard in hand, checking inventory. Surely he would know. She rolls up her cart alongside him, Carolina rice, wrapper in hand. Excuse me, Gomel, laissez-moi t'aider, let me help you. Please? Yes, can I help you? Oh, aisle 12, bottom left. You can't speak English, can you? You're one of those? All right, this way. Oh, thank you. One of those? What does that mean? A person who eats? A person who feeds her family? I watched all of this knowing the answer. I could have bridged that lingual gap with a simple allez douze en bas à gauche Gomel. I could have led Gomel to the rice, but I didn't. At 6, I didn't have the words to say, Mister, why are you talking to her like that? Do you know who she is? That's our potomitan, gros grain, bas famille. Lesson learned. From then on, I make it my business to be Gomel's lingual bridge.
At first, my family was a little apprehensive about it. They were just like, why are you trying to air our dirty laundry? I would remind them of certain things. When I would ask them, I was just like, do you remember when Daddy came home with the machete? My sisters were like, God, you remember that? And I was just like, yeah, don't you? And we'd flesh things out. And I was just like, that's going in. And they'd be like,
The next summer, at home with our parents in Queens, shit hits the fan. My father goes out to put gas in the car while my mother, sisters, and I are at home doing chores. We hear the biggest slam of a door that should have taken it off its hinges. My father comes back from the gas station visibly upset. He's like a black Bruce Banner turning into the Incredible Hulk. You know that part of the transformation as he's going green when veins in the eyes start to bulge as everything on his body gets bigger? That's my dad. He busts through the front door and beelines for the backyard. My mom runs after him. We hear yelling. My sisters and I are terrified. When she gets back inside, my father has a machete in a death grip. She pulls him to the kitchen sink, turns the faucet on, and pours cold water on the top of his head and on his face. His jaw clenches as he breathes through his nostrils. She gets him to drink some water, sits him down, and asks him what happened. Keeping a grip on the machete, he shouts, "I'm a man! I'm a man! Gas station, pumping gas! I am a man!" She gently sits in his lap and holds him, telling him it'll be all okay, he's home now. He lets go of the machete and holds her with both hands, burying his face in her neck, silently crying. I don't know how many strikes this was for him, but he had reached his limit. My mother barely stopped him from killing a man.
It is very hard to share stuff that's this personal. When I get to explaining about describing my uncle's death and my grandmother's death and the flight over from the United States to Haiti to bury her, for as many times as I've done it, done the reading, and this is my 4th time now, that never gets easy. My voice kind of, all the time. And I'm trying to get to a point where I can just say it, but I'm not there yet.
She wanted to be able to deliver that portion of monologue without being affected so that she could do it without crying. I basically said, the legitimacy, if someone handed this to you as an actor, you would let this move through you honestly every time you had to do it. This is your work. You've got to let it move through you.
2 poor men who somehow get their hands on weaponry hold up my uncle's store. After casing the joint and sticking him up, they demand Monogi empty the cash register. As he's doing so, the bandits realize he has a hunting rifle. The one who goes behind the counter with Monok informs his partner that Monok has a gun, which all business owners are allowed to have for situations just like these. And so comes the order. Bigyan uzam, tuye. He's got a gun, kill him, and guayo! Such an easy choice to make. It makes you wonder, how do his murderers in a country that rations electricity, where a majority of the people take bucket baths if they can find clean water to bathe with at all, where a mode of transportation is a donkey, where people are starving on so many levels, get guns?
My goal for this show is for just people to know more. Knowledge is power. I feel that people already know in their heart of hearts that the statement was wrong. But some of them don't know why it's wrong. I'm hoping to give them the information that they need for them to come away with not just, yeah, we know it's wrong, because you just shouldn't say stuff like that. And hopefully for you to, in the end, go home, if there's more that you want to know about Haiti, go home and do some research. Hey, Google, you know, find out more about it so that you become more informed. Thank you. Knowledge is power.